So they were just asking me out of genuine curiosity about like why I got into the industry. And I gave an answer that I felt at the time was really true. And I was like, I think no matter what, I would have ended up getting naked. Like, I think like that was just part of my story. And I think, I still think part of that is true, but what is different post that is the motivating factor of like what made me make those choices, because it used to be a lot more innocent and like a lot more what I would have said was authentic. And now I have so many questions because I'm like, maybe it wasn't, and like maybe it was all of these other things, and I'm in this, it's a really weird place to be. And it's like, if I had done all of this as like a young girl, I would have been able to have more clarity around like, this is me, and then this is not me, this is me, and this is my baggage, and then be able to separate those and like live a more authentic life. You know? And
I think it's to be able to look back at that now, it's just endless compassion for yourself. And that, and I've had things too that I look back in my past and I have two choices: to have so much shame and judgment around it for myself, or to have incredible compassion that's like, oh, I can now see why you made that decision. I see what you were actually seeking, and but you disguised it and you thought it was an empowered decision when in fact it really wasn't. And that's been my experience. And now I just look at that version of me. I did go through some grief and regret and lost time in my life that I'll never get back. And I have vowed that the time now will be so intentional and everything being very aware, because that's where I sat with that question when I stopped coloring my hair 7 years ago. I was like, okay, I was sitting there at the salon. I'm like, let me see. Like, am I actually really, really here for me? What do I believe about gray hair? And the truth was, what I believed about gray hair was that it was beautiful and it signified like lots of stories. And I've always loved, I used to work in a nursing home and when I was in college, and I've always loved the people and aging and elderly. I love deep lines on a face or a hand. I just find it to be almost mystical to me that you've been through that much and the map of it is there for all of us to see. It's incredible to me. And so I sat there in that salon with my eyes closed in that intention, because I was on to like, I think this is my last time. So I said, Amanda, what do you believe about? And this is the thing. I don't think we investigate our own beliefs, and we make choices unconsciously. We don't even know why we're doing them. And when I opened my eyes, I was like, I'm done. I'm never coming back again. And that was 7 years ago, and I've never looked back a day. And I just let it do the natural grow out the way it had to be. And I decided to make it mean I was unwrapping a gift every morning when I go to the mirror and see the new silvers coming through and the patterns. And I decided it was going to be my silver crown. It was going to signify like all I'd lived through in my life. And prior to that, I was just I was like a robot. I was like, oh, the grays are showing. Let me call the salon, book the appointment. Let me go do. And then I was sitting there like, what am I actually putting on my scalp? I eat organic at home, and then I turn around, and this is what really blows me away. I was invited by a friend to go to this event in Miami a couple of months ago. And there's a lot, I would say the majority of at least the upper socioeconomic world of women in Miami are running. I am the anomaly. I will just say that. And I think sometimes there's like people on the phone outside my neighborhood, like, we just spotted a real woman at the mailbox. Alert, does not compute. We do not know what this alien is doing in the neighborhood. But I'm at this event and I was with a friend who lives really naturally as well. And we commented on the fact out of like 100 women, we were certain, other than the woman leading it and us, we were certain we were the only two who had no alterations of any sort. And I was just like, I feel really sad right now. And it was for women in midlife. I'm like, I feel really sad. And they were asking this woman, this hormone expert, about all these things. And it was fascinating to me how they're like, and I eat this and I do this and I do this workout. And it was all about the exterior presentation of the body. It had nothing to do with the internal. And I thought that is so fascinating to me, that you are priding yourself on how healthy you eat, and yet you're injecting all of this unknown into your face. I predict in 20 years from now, we're going to look back at this the way we used to look at lobotomies. When people had mental health issues, they used to remove their frontal lobe. When women were pregnant, they used to tell them, smoke some cigarettes. It'll curb your appetite so you don't gain too much weight. We now can't even fathom that. We can't fathom that children used to be in cars without seatbelts. We're going to look at Botox and be like, do you believe that women were so desperate to not show signs of aging, they put rat poison in their face and thought it was going to be okay. They didn't think there was going to be a consequence to it. That is what I predict is going to happen. And so we're at this conference and I went up to the leader afterwards. I'm like, I'm really curious. When women were saying, well, I do all these things and my hormones are all over the place and they're a wreck right now, why you didn't call out, hey, have you ever, because I heard you say, be really careful about the cream you put on your skin. Read the ingredients. If it's not organically sourced or really raw and natural, you're absorbing those toxins into your bloodstream. It's going to disrupt your endocrine system. I'm really curious why you didn't say that about all the Botox that they had and all the fillers. And she said, because the woman leading this event told me last night I couldn't touch that topic.
Whoa.
So we keep each other enslaved because I have been slammed for talking about Botox and I'll never stop talking about it because you know what? We need a friggin' mother. We need a mother who's screaming. When my kids would try to run out into traffic, I didn't say, oh, maybe you shouldn't do that, honey. Are you sure? I don't know. I don't think that's a good idea. I said, stop. What are you doing? Because I cared so much and I wanted them to be safe. And I care so much about women and believe so much in their power. I'm willing to say the things because I know those who fall away will never have been for me anyways. And those who stay will pique their curiosity because I'm insulted that we are tiptoeing around and we're being like, well, but do whatever you want, whatever makes you happy. And I'm not talking about judgment. I'm talking about let's actually come to the table and have really hard conversations. Mm-hmm. Let's do that. Can we be mature enough to say things that are evocative and are going to stir the pot? Yes, I'm willing to do that.